Hello everyone, welcome to this AWS hands-on training session. My name is Som and I am going to be your instructor for this session. In this session, we are going to learn about how to host a static website securely in AWS with SSL, CloudFront, hosted zone and AWS certificate manager. Now, if you have fundamental knowledge of AWS or you are in technical field, you may be thinking that hosting a static website is a child's play. But doing the same thing for an organization at enterprise level requires many things to consider. Just hosting doesn't suffice. It must be secure, reliable, efficient, and operational. Before we proceed to the hands-on demonstration, if you are new to AWS or first time with AWS technology, few terms in demonstration can be unknown to you. But do not worry or lose your patience. I will show you the way on how and where you can learn from. As you see in this architecture, it is going to be our architecture for the solution we are going to implement. The domain, as you see, it is example.domain. We have our domain already registered for this training session. We will be using CloudFront service, S3, Route 53, as well as AWS certificate manager for this training session. Now let's go to the AWS console. I am already logged into my AWS console. First, go to Route 53. Go to dashboard, and once you register a domain, by default you get the hosted zone created. So for somespeaks.net, I click on it and I get the domain name which is already created. Okay, now since I have this domain and hosting zone created, my next task is go to S3 and create a bucket. Bucket name should be identical to the domain name. So our domain name is somespeaks.net. Region is US East 1 and bucket should be public. So by default all buckets are blocked for all public access, we know, but we have to uncheck that and we have to acknowledge this, that turning off bucket all public access might result in the bucket and the objects within become public. Okay, acknowledged it and create this bucket. So we have just created this bucket which is somespeaks.net, identical name to the domain we have. Now before going further, let's check the somespeaks.net. How is it showing? It is showing nothing because we will be launching our static website here. Again, go back to S3. Now go to properties and enable static website hosting. By default it is disabled. Click on use this bucket to host a website and add index document as index.html, .html, and click on save. You see the static website hosting has been enabled. Now again click on that and copy this link because this is your static website link. But there is nothing in this bucket, so go back to the bucket once again and we have to add one website, the website we want to launch. So before uploading this, let me show you that in html5app.net this theme is very nice and very small. So I have downloaded this theme from html5app.net for this tutorial purpose, and we will be uploading this a website sample in our S3 bucket. So I'm going to this, just copying these two files and adding it here. Next, upload. And it is uploading to our S3 bucket. Yes, it has uploaded. Now the link we copied, let's put it here. The link we copied, click on. Oh, it is showing 403 forbidden. I intentionally created this error to make you understand that when you are launching a static website from S3 folder, you have to add one permission as well. So you go to this bucket, this permission, bucket policy, and you have to add one bucket policy. So to get this bucket policy in Amazon documentation, you will find this bucket policy. You have to copy, paste it here, write your bucket name. It is in our case somspeaks.net, and save it. Once you save it, then again click this. As you see that this website has started coming, but our intention was to, once we browse our somspeaks.net, that is our personalized domain, this website should come. So now let's go to the other part of this tutorial. Now go to certificate manager. Certificate manager. We will be requesting one certificate now. Now click on request certificate. Request a certificate. Write your domain name. And add another domain name, www.samedomain name. Click on next. Do this DNS validation. Click next. I'm adding a tag called domain name this, review. Okay. Confirm request. Now you have to validate this. Click on create record in Route 53. Now before creating clicking on this button, let me show you in Route 53 that how the records are already there. So if you open the AWS console once again and go to Route 53, go to the DNS, select your domain. See, currently there are 3, so by default in your case it will be 2 only. Okay, now we are going back to this certificate manager again, clicking on create record in Route 53. Success. Once more for www domain, create record this 3, it is success. Create on continue. Now it is showing pending validation. It may take around 30 minutes or more, or few minutes only, depends on the DNS names for this hosted zone. But before that, let me show you, just I'm refreshing it. You see this new to cnames has been configured for somspeaks.net and www.somspeaks.net. It is due to the certificate manager we have created. Now let's come here and refresh it for some time, because it takes few minutes. After pending validation, it will show issued, status is issued. Now it's great. So our certificate we have issued for somspeaks.net, mean the domain we asked for the certificate, it has been issued. Now in use, no. Now how we can use it? We have to create one CloudFront distribution. Yes, so go to the search option and search CloudFront. Click on create distribution. Use this web type. Click on get started. Now what we have to do, we have to select our S3 bucket. We have selected our S3 bucket. Restrict bucket access. Yes, we want to restrict our bucket access because earlier the bucket access was public, right? Now origin access identity, create a new identity. It will create of its own. Grant read permission on bucket. Yes, update bucket policy. So once this distribution, CloudFront distribution will be creating, it will update the bucket policy of its own. We do not need to update again. Okay. Now in viewer protocol policy, click this redirect HTTP to HTTPS. It is very important. And again, come scroll down a bit and add your domain. It is first one is somspeaks.net, give a comma, second one make it www.somspeaks.net. Now SSL certificate, as we have created already one SSL certificate for this domain, so we will create on custom SSL certificate. Click on it and we are getting this somspeaks.net. Very nice. And there is one more thing to add here, because default root object, it is very important, index.html. so what will be your default root object? You have to mention it here. We are not using any logging, so that's the reason we didn't provide any bucket for logs, log prefix, etc. Just click on create distribution and it has started creating the distribution from here. So if we go to this distribution once again, you see that this distribution status is in progress. Now it takes around 5 to 7 minutes to complete, and once it is complete it will show deployed. But before that meanwhile, let's go to our DNS settings, means our hosted zone. In our hosted zone, let's go to this hosted zone. In history you can find this route 53. Go to this hosted zone, click on your domain. Now when that cloud formation, the cloud so not cloud formation, it is CloudFront distribution will be deployed, what it will do, it will actually, you have to map that CloudFront distribution with your S3, and that is the, as you see, that CloudFront distribution with your A records. It is my A records IPv4. I have just selected this alias target and saved it. Now let's go back once again for this CloudFront, if it has already deployed. It is still in progress. Meanwhile, let me take you through theoretical concept on the services we have created. First, we have used AWS Certificate Manager. AWS Certificate Manager is a service that lets you easily provision, manage and deploy public and private secure socket layer, or SSL we'll call it. So that is because we wanted that our static website will be secured by SSL. The next service we used, that is Amazon S3. Amazon Simple Storage Service is an object storage service that offers industry-leading scalability, data availability, security and performance. I'm showing it from the AWS documentation. So once you are studying or knowing more about these services, you can go to the AWS documentation available from the AWS site. The next service we used, Amazon Route 53. Amazon Route 53 is a highly available and scalable cloud domain name system website. It is designed to give developers and business an extremely reliable and cost effective way to route end users to internet application by translating names like www.example.com. And one more services we have used here, that is Amazon CloudFront. Amazon CloudFront is a first content delivery network, or CDN in short, that securely delivers data, videos, application and APIs to customer globally with low latency, high transfer speed, all within a developers friendly environment. Now these are the services we have just used. I am going back to our CloudFront distribution again and just refresh, and it is still in progress. So we will wait for some time and we'll come back once it is deployed. As we see that the status is deployed for this CloudFront distribution, so it means that our service, our website can be accessed through the domain. So again, I'm going to this Route 53. You can say Route 53 or Route 53, whatever you want. Now at a record, as you see that I selected this CloudFront. I'm just rechecking it again. Select this CloudFront distribution. As you see, CloudFront distribution. Again, just save the data. Okay, now our goal is, as earlier it was to get our website, we had to use this long website URL, but we should be using somspx.net, our domain name, and let's see how it works. Great. So our website has come, and see, we are able to get our website when we are browsing this our particular customized domain, as well as if you see this small log connection is secured. It means that the certificate we created, that SSL certificate we created, it is taking effect and it is working, and you see that it is HTTP. So I'm doing a quick recap of this session. The first thing is that we check our Route 53. Go to Route 53, check here registered domain and hosted zones. So we have our registered domain SomSpeaks we are using for this tutorial, and we have the hosted zone created. Next, go to the certificate manager. Certificate manager, we requested one certificate for somspeaks.net, and as you see that our certificate is created for both domains. It is somspeaks.net and additional name is www.somspeaks.net. Yes, you have to create the additional names as well, and you will have two certificates, and once it is validation, DNS validation is completed, it will show issues. And as we are using this in our CloudFront distribution, it is showing in use yes. Now go to CloudFront distribution, the distribution we created. I'm just clicking on CloudFront. As you see that the listed CloudFront distribution, the first one is for us, and it is the record, and we have this CloudFront distribution for cnames, somspeaks.net, www.somspeaks.net. Our SSL certificate is also attached, which we created. We have our domain name as CloudFront domain name. Okay, and we will back to our DNS, and in DNS as a record we have created this CloudFront. We have mapped this CloudFront distribution from here, and once we click on this somspeaks.net, now we are able to fetch that. Now let me take you to the S3 once again, that we created the public bucket first. Now, after creating this CloudFront distribution with certificate manager, we do not need to keep our bucket public. So we can make our bucket public and update the permission. So bucket policy we created, it is the bucket policy we created to make the objects public. I'm just deleting this part, clicking on save. It is saved. Now in our permission again, block public access, clicking on edit, block all public access. Now perfect, confirm, click on confirm, and public access settings updated successfully. Very nice. Now if I show you that the link S3 link, static website links, which we were using for this website, it will show 403 forbidden because we have wiped out the public access policy. But in our domain, if we refresh this domain, we get this website. So it means that we are able to launch our static website with private S3 bucket with certificate manager from AWS, as well as by using CloudFront and Route 53. Thank you very much for watching this session, and if you have any query, you can just email me or find the resources here. You can get the step-by-step of this tutorial from the Git repository github.com/AWS Tech Guide, and you can follow us on Facebook AWS Tech Guide group or Facebook page. And to know about the upcoming free sessions like this hands-on tutorial, you can subscribe to awstechguide.eventbrite.com. Thank you very much. We'll see you in upcoming sessions.